Back again with another one, boy. Back in Florida. Crazy, ain't it? I'm gonna show you something real quick. You saw that? I ain't gonna show y'all no more. If you wanna see what that say, you gotta pause the video. But we back in Florida, man. It's good to see y'all again. Even though I just uploaded a video yesterday, so by the time you see this, do me a favor before we start this video. I need y'all to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And hit the notification bell. Because YouTube don't like what we talk about. YouTube don't want us to hear these messages. So I need y'all to help me spread it. Today we're watching, I know y'all seen Candice Owens and Kanye West walking around with a White Lives Matter shirt on. And the internet blew up, went crazy. And so my reaction to it was kind of like, I thought it was funny. You know what I'm saying? I think everything funny. So I just kind of laughed. I was like, what the hell? I was like, I wonder what the idea behind this was. Did they have like a deeper message, or were they just trying to expose the fact that people was gonna freak out if you know, two black people wearing a White Lives Matter shirt? Which people did freak out. People was talking about, oh, you're not black no more. You're a coon, Uncle Tom, Uncle Ruckus. And I'm just thinking like, damn, that reaction is that strong? Why is it that strong? But hey, we found Candice Owens, and this is one of her videos. She's talking about it. White Lives Matter is the title. So we'll see what's up with it for real. What her explanation is.
Why did Candice Owens and Kanye West wear White Lives Matter t-shirts last night at his Yeezy Season 9 show here in Paris? I'm still in Paris. If you're watching, here it is, the notorious White Lives Matter shirt, which has inspired a meltdown, a breakdown for some people. I think my question is, why?
Y'all tell me in the comments, if you got mad at this, can you tell me why you're mad? Like, what? Can you explain it to me? Like I'm stupid, because I don't know. Because me personally, I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I think my opinion is now. That I just don't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't care.
Here in Paris, and people are upset. They're very upset about that. They're going, why on earth? How could you? How dare you wear this shirt? How dare you make a mockery of the BLM movement? Everyone knows that Black Lives Matter was a scam. Now it's over. You're welcome. That is
because it was. Them broads that started Black Lives Matter was just feeding off of the moment, feeding off of the pain and trauma that people was feeling. Okay, feeding off the chaos, because they was really just trying to get y'all money, and y'all motherfuckers gave them y'all money, and they bought them big ass houses in California, Beverly Hills, a couple of them, millions, billions of dollars, dude. What was it, billions? It was definitely in the millions, bruh. Them niggas is rich. Off of what? They said they was going to donate some money to different causes, different Black Lives Matter chapters. And they ain't donate shit. They donate all that shit to their wallets. Okay? This is what I mean about being so emotional, bro. And actually, when I was in New York, I was talking about this shit, bro. If you act so emotional, people will take advantage of you, and it's easy to manipulate you. Because they know how to make you, they know how to trigger you. They know how to push your buttons. And the moment you let somebody let you act out of character, the moment they got you, boy. They got you. And y'all got.
Is the only response, or the only thing that he has said publicly about wearing the t-shirt. And you obviously know, if you're watching this, where I stand on the Black Lives Matter movement. In fact, I'm doing an entire documentary to expose the fraudulent nature of that movement and the organization that stood behind it and benefited billions and billions of dollars because they elicited black grief. They sold black people a concept of their oppression. They used poorer black Americans as a marketing firm for their organization. And where did that money go? Well, certainly not to Black America. So I had this wonderful thing this morning, this wonderful experience, and I'll tell you why.
Another thing too, bro, I can say this shit, bro. I can say this shit. Look at this picture on my wall. Look at this picture on my wall. Nigga, I was out there. I was out there. Y'all niggas was not out there. I was out there, so I can say this shit. Shut up. This shit ain't just coming from nowhere, nigga. I've been doing this shit, bro. This ain't nothing. Y'all can look at my channel. There's 2 or 3. At least 2 of them videos is on my channel right now with me talking, bro. Spitting that shit. It's not just coming from like an ignorant mouth that don't know what he talking about, bro. No. I'm gonna talk about that whole experience too. I'm gonna make a video talking about that shit.
It was wonderful. I had breakfast with Ye at his hotel, and it was wonderful because it was one of those moments where I realized how far I've come from where I was. The first time that I ever came to Paris, ironically, I was having breakfast with a woman whose family I worked for, and she was so awful to me. And I'll never forget this moment because it almost ruined Paris for me. It was a wealthy woman who told me as we sat in her hotel, which was the George Cinq Hotel, she said, Candace, a girl like you shouldn't even be here. Look how expensive the omelet is that you're eating. Do you see how expensive it is? An omelet is $35. A girl like you can't afford this hotel, or you can't afford to stay here.
A girl like
and I remember I was so upset that when I left that breakfast, I was crying because I was so angry that anybody had spoken to me like that. And fast forward, I guess, more than 10 years now, and I am sitting at a hotel with having an omelet, by the way, with Ye West, and we are discussing the internet, which we just broke over this T-shirt. And I just started jotting down some things that he was saying because he was actually giving an interview to another magazine. And he said, I perform for an audience of one, and that's God. I loved that statement, so I wrote it down. He also said, quote, utopia is possible for not who we are being led by. I'm going to say that again. Utopia is possible for not who we are being led by, which of course leads me to think about Black Lives Matter again, and these people who claim to be leaders and knew that what they were doing was further dividing the masses. I mean, the whole idea here via the Black Lives Matter movement was to make sure that Black people saw oppression and saw white supremacy surrounding them, and convincing them that if they leaned into this narrative, that somehow their lives would be better. It was a mirage. Actually, that's a word that Ye used during the breakfast too. It was basically a mirage, right? This idea that somehow...
A mirage, a facade. They want you to feel like victims. They want you to be eternally victims, okay? Because if you're always a victim, you're always going to be looking for somebody to save you. Your role is victim. Their role is savior. Give me your money so I can save you. I can help you fight. And the whole time, they don't care because you're never a victim. You're never a victim. Fight for yourself.
How all we needed to do was burn down our own neighborhoods. All we needed to do was have our youth wearing a George Floyd t-shirt. All we needed to do was loot Targets and loot these expensive stores, and somehow justice would be delivered. And of course it wasn't. There is a deep irony and a sad irony when you consider that wearing a t-shirt has led such a tremor throughout the world, right? A t-shirt that says White Lives Matter, which should be implied, right? White Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Asian Lives Matter, it should be implied. Yet people are angry and they are being vicious online because they can't believe that we have the audacity to detract from the movement, which is a lie, right? Black Lives Matter. If Black Lives Matter, then some of these things that we have been talking about on this show, things I've been talking about throughout my entire political career, would be getting attention. Not the t-shirt, right? Not the t-shirt, but these actual statistics that matter. And here are just a few of them. 117,626 Black children were killed by surgical abortion in the United States in 2018, right? Those are recent statistics. Just so we are clear, abortion in America has contributed to the greatest decline in Black population since the first Black slaves arrived. You will hear people often talk about lynching. This is like a new thing. They like neoliberalism. They could talk about lynching and they compare everything to lynchings. It's just like being lynched. Well, for your reference, you should know that 4,467 people in the United States were victims of lynchings from 1883 to 1941. 3,265 of those people were Black. And you keep talking about lynching as this horrific thing that's happened in the past, right? And yet when you say to people today...
I don't know where those numbers are from. I didn't know that. You know what I mean?
That 20 million Black infants were aborted. They don't even blink an eye. They don't even bat an eyelash. no, less than batting an eyelash. They tell those same black people that they need to be outraged when a Planned Parenthood clinic shuts down. 20 million. When you talk about people that...
I guess it's easier to not consider a fetus a already living person because they're still in the womb. So that's probably why. You know what I mean? Regardless of what you think about abortion, I see what they're trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Because those are potential lives. Well, the argument is some people think that they're life already. Some people think they're potential lives. So, it just depends on what you think. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that's not going to have an easy conclusion because both ideas are very strongly believed on both sides. So, I see what she's trying to say, though. All those potential black people were gone because motherfuckers didn't want to have a baby. Or motherfuckers wasn't ready to have a baby.
That are killed in the millions when you talk about the Jewish Holocaust, when you talk about the Rwandan Holocaust. People are, oh my gosh, this is horrible. Of course, because it is horrible. But for whatever reason, since we have convinced ourselves to genocide our own offspring, nobody cares. Nobody cares. They don't bat an eyelash. In fact, they tell you that it is your right. So think about that. 20 million black babies, and yet a T-shirt is what got attention last night. In 2012, more black babies were killed by abortion in New York City than...
Was she just trying to make this whole thing about abortion? Is that what it is? Is that what her ploy was? To make it about abortion? To talk about abortion? And how many black babies don't get to live?
Were born. Imagine that. Your abortion rate
I get it.
Being higher than your live birth rate in a city. And they celebrate it. Do you remember?
Damn, that's crazy. That is actually crazy. Hold on.
Then we're born. Imagine that. Your abortion rate being higher than your live birth rate in a city. And they celebrate it. Do you remember notoriously the governor lit up the city pink when they talked about expanding abortion rights, expanding the black genocide, light up the skyscrapers pink. It is a win. A win for who, though, is the question. A win for who?
Well, population control. You got to keep them birth rates down.
79% of Planned Parenthood abortion facilities are located within walking distance of neighborhoods that have a higher proportion of Latina and black women. But that's not the only thing that's killing black America, literally. We also know obesity is killing black America. I wish, you know what we should have done? We should have put a White Lives Matter t-shirt on Lizzo. Maybe we could have gotten a lot of attention about obesity and how it's actually killing black Americans. Obesity is the #1 killer in America, okay? I know Black Lives Matter told you it was police shootings, right? It made you think that thousands of black men were dying at the hands of police. No, absolutely not. I think in the year 2020, was it 9 unarmed black men were killed by police? 9 of them. But obesity is killing people at a very high rate, and black women have the highest rates of obesity. It's the #1 killer, and of course, we sit at the top of it. Black women, 56.9% of us are classified as obese. We shouldn't talk about that. You know why? Because it didn't have a t-shirt on it that said White Lives Matter. We talk about criminality. No one wants to talk about it if you're not talking about a police officer, right? People don't want to talk about the fact that black people are slaughtering other black people. People don't want to talk about black on black crime. It doesn't matter because we're doing it to ourselves, right? Just like we're aborting our own babies. Applaud it. Applaud it. In fact, put it in the music. Put the criminality in the music and celebrate it. Give it a Grammy. Give black criminality a Grammy so that we understand that this is ours. Sit in the cool club, right? Now we know what it means to be black. Now we know what it means to not be a traitor to your own race. Murder your own race. And if you don't do it in your womb, grab a gun. Kill the guy next to you. Applause all around the world. Per the CDC, after...
Hey, man, she's spitting, man. Hey, you see I'm not saying nothing because she's spitting. How do you argue against that? You can't argue against none of what she said. The only thing you could maybe argue is about abortion because that's already a topic that people argue about anyway. You know what I'm saying? You say it's killing people. The other side say, oh, well, you're trying to control women's bodies. And when you make something about women and controlling them, that's their go-to argument. You can't argue against it. Why are you trying to control women? Why are you trying to control women? Why are you trying to control women? My body, my choice. It's like, yo, now you're shutting down the whole conversation. Because you already went to the whole extreme of the point. The point is not about controlling nobody. I think I'm still not fully decided on how I feel about it. Actually, no, I know how I feel about it. I agree that it is killing people. Abortion. You're killing potential people potential lives. At the same time, I understand having it as an option. Or at least like a last resort. You know what I mean? I understand that too. So,
African Americans are 4 times more likely to be killed by a gun than the overall population. And once again, it's not a white person that is pulling the trigger. It's another black person. We account for almost 40% of all of the homicide offenders in the United States. 40% coming from the smallest piece of the population. We're talking about, 7% of the population is black men, and they're accounting for 40% of all of the homicides in the United States. But let's not talk about that.
Yeah, and that's true. That's true. And people don't want to talk about that when really we have to. And when we hear these stats, we have to ask why. Why is it that things are like this? Is it culturally? Is it socially? It's not because of your race. It's not because of the race. That's one thing you gotta get right. Because a lot of people try to use these statistics and say, look, see, black people are crazy. Black people are evil. And no, they use it to push whatever racist agenda they got. But on the other hand, motherfuckers like liberals and people on the left and Democrats, they don't want to talk about this because they don't want to solve the issue. They don't want to solve the issue because they just want your vote. You know what I'm saying? On the other hand, Republicans, do they want to solve it? I don't know. I'm not sure. Because I really haven't seen any conservatives or Republicans really talk about it and talk in depth about it for real, and what they can do to fix those issues. Democrats don't talk about it at all. Well, they talk about loosening. They talk about loosening sentences. You know what I'm saying? Mandatory minimums and shit like that. Loosening them. You know what I mean? So, and they'll talk about rehabilitation options. They'll talk about reforming the prison system, or if they do, it's lip service. Because really, because you don't get no. All these politicians, they get lobbied, okay? They get money for the choices that they make. So the well-being, your well-being is not in their top priority. Their top priority is making a good dollar, okay? A nice, quick, good dollar. They're incentivized to promote the chaos and let the chaos reign. Because the prisons, they get money from them privately owned prisons, okay? That's what it is, bro. So a lot of these people, maybe people like Candice Owens, maybe like the smaller regular people actually care and want to do something. Like me, I care. You know what I'm saying? But the people in power, the people that make the choices, the vote, the decisions, the laws, they don't care, bro. Or at least they'll care to an extent. Or the ones that do care are blocked by the ones that don't care, that are higher up. Facts.
In fact, let's call that racist to even acknowledge that truth. To talk about the ills in our own community, that's racism. Let's just move on for it. People love to talk about the incarceration rates, right? Because the incarceration rates allow you to understand the result without ever having to talk about the problem, right? You don't have to talk about the equation. I'll just give you the answer. Black men are incarcerated, right? It says here that there are nearly 5 times the rate of black men in prison than white people. Oh, perfect narrative. It must be racism. No, it has nothing to do with the fact that we're the most murderous group in America. Has nothing to do with that. Of course, 1 + 1 = 2, but let's focus on the 2 and not the 1 + 1. Let's focus on everything except for the fact that we also know that these individuals that are ending up in prison, or these individuals that are ending up killed, or these infants that are being taken out of their mother's own womb, they're all coming from broken families. Families that have been strategically broken down in a culture that further promotes the breakdown of family, that corrodes the value of women, that corrodes the value of men. But hey, that wasn't wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt. So who cares? Who cares? Who cares if 20 million black babies are dead? Who cares if half of our black men are locked up? Who cares if black women half of them are clinically obese and spelling out their own death sentences. Who cares if we represent 40% of all homicide offenders? It doesn't matter because we didn't put it in a Black Lives Matter tee. You know what else doesn't matter? It doesn't matter at all. The education statistics. Don't even pay attention to the fact that 74% of Black boys in California can't pass a basic reading exam.
74%? Ooh, I just made a video talking about California is lawless. Let me tell you, bro. That's really bad. That's really bad, bro. 74% of niggas, of black boys, little black boys can't pass a...
You know why? Because we love ignorance. We should celebrate ignorance, right? Who cares that across 5 schools in an inner city like Baltimore, they couldn't find a single child that was proficient in reading and in writing? Who cares? Who cares that 3 out of 4 black boys in California schools cannot meet writing standards? Who cares?
But they quick to join the gang, though. They quick to shoot a nigga, rob a nigga. Damn, bro. Damn, man. We're sick. We are sick. We are sick. There is a sickness. There is a... I'm gonna preach. There is a sickness, deviance, and we don't want it. We don't want it. It's like, how do you solve these issues when the people in charge incentivize these issues? They push these issues. They want black people to fail. And just like from slavery, they want black people to fail. They want to control black people. And they're controlling us very, very well. They're controlling us very well, bro. Damn.
It's not in a White Lives Matter t-shirt, so we won't talk about the fact that nearly 80% of black boys in the 4th grade failed to meet state reading standards.
In California, 80%?
None of that stuff, for whatever reason, resonates. No one's ever outraged. It never trends on Twitter. Last night, White Lives Matter was trending on Twitter because...
I get the point. I get the point. Their point was, look at all these people are going to start crying if I put White Lives Matter in a shirt. Crying, talking about you're not black, you're not black, you're not black. But you don't see them saying nothing about the actual issues that black people go through. You don't say nothing about the education level. You don't say nothing about the crime of us killing each other. You don't say nothing about the obesity that's killing ourselves. You don't say nothing about promoting all the negative shit in the culture. You don't say nothing about that. You don't care. You don't care. It doesn't offend you. You don't care. But if a nigga puts White Lives Matter on the shirt, oh my gosh, the world's gonna end. That's what makes you mad? Not the fact that black people are dying and struggling. That's what makes you mad. White Lives Matter. You want to say Black Lives Matter so much, but show it. Prove it to me that Black Lives Matter. Because right now, it don't seem like y'all give a fuck at all. Damn.
Kanye West had the nerve and the gall to put that t-shirt on. White Lives Matter. Now the press. How dare you? How dare you? What a form of engaging in white supremacy. None of this that I just read to you is white supremacy, but the t-shirt is a form of white supremacy. You know what the problem is? The problem is not what's happening inside the households or what's happening on the streets or the slaughtering that's taken place. The problem is not the women that have been trained to kill their own offspring, not to raise their sons, the men that are on the streets killing one another and putting out music that encourages their offspring to do the same. The real problem in Black America is that Kanye and Candace put on a White Lives Matter t-shirt. So let's focus on that instead. And that's all I have to say about that. Okay, guys, before we continue, I want to talk to you about Front Page.
Ooh. That is tough, boy. That's tough. Like, I knew they didn't do it for no reason. You know what I'm saying? But it makes sense, you know what I mean? Like, let's get a reaction out of these people to show them how mad they're going to get about this, but they don't get mad about the shit that's actually going on. The real shit. You want to be screaming, crying, boo-hoo, ha-ha, crying. Oh, my God, why would you? Because it exposes another thing, too. Okay, what's wrong if somebody said white lives matter? Do white people's lives not matter? They people too, right? You know what I'm saying? They're people too. Why the fuck you mad? It's not like they say black lives don't matter. And really, if you look at the behavior, who are the ones that think black lives don't matter? It's y'all. Y'all think black lives don't matter. Y'all can stream Black Lives Matter all the time, but y'all promote bullshit. Y'all promote fuck shit. So fuck y'all.
Magazine, founded by conservative. You know what else I said to Kanye over breakfast? I was saying to him that when I look at people and when I speak to people, I actually acknowledge that so many of them are just bots. Individuals who are so clearly programmed. It's like an algorithm, and they all have the same algorithm. They're like droids that are walking around in society. BLM, check. You know what I mean? The little flag, the Ukraine flag, check. The LGBT flag, and they're all just the same person being processed over and over and over again. And that's how you know that the system is feeding them information, and they don't even realize. They don't even mean to be vicious and angry, because they've just become the algorithm, right? These people are quite literally responding to an algorithm that has been decided for them, that has been
the Matrix
programmed into them. And that is how I feel right now as I'm taking a look at some of these comments. The reason why there is no need for you or Kanye West or anyone else to wear a White Lives Matter shirt is because never in the history of this country has the value that America puts on white lives ever been in question. Okay, so why are you mad when we wear it? Eaton, why are you mad? What are you upset about? If it's not even a question, then why are you bothered? Why did it ruffle your feathers? Just if it's not even a question, right? If the air I breathe is not even a question. I don't protest when somebody is just breathing air. You have Darren Trank.
And you know, I would actually say the opposite. White Lives Matter. Seeing how people act in society, they act as if white lives don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Everything is a white person's fault. White people need to give everything they have for the sins of the past. White people need to do this. White people need to be an ally. White people need to check their privilege. White people need to be this and that, this and that, this and that. Oh, you're just white. Who cares? Oh yeah, who cares? They kill white people. You know what I'm saying? You don't give a fuck because it's a white person. You get what I'm saying? The same attitude that you say that they have to black people, you have the attitude back to them. It's like, yo, a lot of these people are just regular people living regular lives. Black and white, Asian, Hispanic. All the shit that we see online, it's a minority, bro. It's a minority of people. It's a small amount. But because it's on social media, that's all they push. That's all they push. That's all they push. That's what we regular people start to think and believe. Like, dang, this is how reality is for real. And really, it's not.
Who wrote, Candace, you don't get that you're just undermining a movement by imitating their name and logo. You're simply not worth anyone's time. No, Darren, what you don't understand is that I intend to undermine the movement. That's what I've been doing. I've been undermining the Black Lives Matter movement because I'm not an idiot. And it's clear that the result of the Black Lives Matter movement has been more destruction for Black lives. It is clear that Black people are being programmed in the same way that you have been programmed to think that the movement is for you when it's not. It has stripped our communities further. The places where these riots took place are further impoverished. Black people did not become richer since the George Floyd riots. They actually, factually became poorer. The poverty rates for Black children and Black adults has gone up since the Black Lives Matter riots. Oh, but at least you got to put the Black Lives Matter logo in your profile, didn't you, Darren?
I don't know if that's because of Black Lives Matter, okay? I don't know if that's because. I would say some black people did lose some money because of the riots. Not the protests, the riots. The protests didn't do nothing. Protests are the ones that's peaceful. The riots is one that's going crazy because they burnt down a lot of businesses, including black people's business. So you're in the street, well, I was about to say you're in the street yelling Black Lives Matter, but you're burning shit down. But the ones that are really yelling Black Lives Matter, I feel like they weren't, the ones that are really rioting, they weren't really the ones that was out there for black lives, you feel me? Generally. I could be wrong, but generally I don't think so. But the ones that were out there that weren't condemning the burning and the looting and the rioting, you know, you're out there protesting peacefully for Black Lives Matter, but you're not saying anything against the people that's rioting for real. You know what I'm saying? Phew.
What is it? Is it the fist pump? I intend to undermine the movement. On to another droid. Candace, another deflection. This country doesn't have a history of treating white lives like they don't matter. Okay? well, black people have a history of treating black lives like they don't matter. And now we have taken on the DNA of it, right? We are basically saying, and this is crazy because another point that I made is that the N-word, right, something that you're not allowed to say unless you're black, which I want to read to you the history of the N-word. So the N-word actually used to have a definition. It used to have a clear definition
Negus,
of an
Negus?
ignorant person. It was not an ignorant black person, but any person that is tremendously ignorant was considered the N-word. So, of course, they referred to slaves who were ignorant because they were not allowed to read according to slave codes, right? They were.
I want her to show some facts on that because I never read that before. You know what I'm saying? I know that they got it from the word negus, Negus, which means royalty. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and I know they twisted that up in reference to black people. So she need to show me some history, some facts on that because I don't believe that from what I have researched myself.
We're not allowed to become learned individuals or to become further educated. They referred to them as the N-word. Now, recently, I just found out they've updated the definition of the N-word. If you look it up, I did this morning. And when you read the definition, it says it's an insult to black people. So we've actually now expanded the definition to mean just black people in modern times, not back in slave times, but in modern times. Now we say the N-word is just meant for black people. And I came across this article in the New York Times that made me laugh. It's so preposterous, it made me laugh, and it so embodies the circumstance that
1998
black people are in today. Again, this is a quote from the New York Times, 1998. It says, the word N-word has been used
nigga, say it, nigga,
in America since the 18th century as an offensive insult, but pronounced nigga, it can also be used.
I've never heard her say that. Hold on, let me rewind that. I've never heard her say that. Hold on.
As an offensive insult, but pronounced nigga, it can also be used.
Why'd she say it like that? Nigga? That was funny.
Among some African Americans as a term of endearment. Oh, okay. So it's like the first portion of that is for people that are smart and educated, right? The N-word has been used in America since the 18th century as an offensive insult. Okay, cool. But if you're stupid, right, and you're ignorant and you actually embody the N-word, then please know that you can use it as a term of endearment. Once again, we have a circumstance where we are being sold back our own oppression and told to celebrate it. I see it over and over and over again.
That's understandable. I still be saying nigga, but it's understandable.
People are being taught to embody the N-word, even down to the literal N-word. We are being told, this is cool. Say it. Say it in your parlance. So they used to call you it, but now we want you to call yourselves it. And we do it. By God, we do it. It's in our music. In fact, we are so proud of our usage of the N-word that we yell at people if they're not also black and saying it, right? We're like, no, we are the ignorant ones. Only we are allowed to say these words. I have to imagine that there is some alternative universe where people are just sitting back laughing. Like they're playing, it's almost a video game at this point. They're sitting back and they're thinking, okay, no way. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Ready? It's like Practical Jokers or Ashton Kutcher in Punk'd in MTV. They're sitting in a van and we're like, do you think that you could get black people to actually just call themselves the N-word? No way. They're not that stupid. They're not, oh my God, they're doing it. They're actually doing it.
I feel like you don't have to find it in an alternate universe. I feel like a lot of motherfuckers that's empowered, powers that be, the motherfuckers up top, not to get too conspiracy, really? What's the word? Not to get too conspiracy theorist, but they definitely laugh at us every day. Laugh at how we kill each other, laugh at how we murder each other, laugh at how we keep each other down, laugh at how we kill ourselves. They're laughing. There was a video by Soft White Underbelly, which, you know what? We're going to react to that. It was a KKK member who literally said, the KKK doesn't have to kill black people anymore. Black people kill themselves.
They're saying the N-word. They're calling themselves. Okay. I'm going to level up here. Do you think that you can get black people to not only call themselves the N-word, but to be mad if anybody else says it outside of them? Like it's just their word. Oh my God. They're actually doing it. And the same people that are sitting in this truck, punking society, just seeing how far Black America will take it, are just upping the ante, it seems, every day. I go back to what I said earlier, right? Obesity. They're sitting in the truck and they're like, okay, Lizzo is fat. Lizzo is very fat. Lizzo is obese, and obese is very obviously the number one killer in society. Do you think that we could get her to be proud of being fat and to tell other people that they should be proud to be fat? No. Should we see if she will go as far as to have a Netflix docuseries of her having a bunch of other fat people compete to work with her? No way she's going to do it. Oh my God.
Is that real?
She's doing it. She's doing it. They're proud to be Black. Oh, I mean, they're proud to be fat. She's on stage, as she did a couple of weeks ago, accepting a trophy, saying how when she was growing up, she never saw people that were fat like her. And now she's proud because she's receiving an award. In fact, I bet the people that are in this little punked band are creating the awards. Okay, let's award them every time they do something that is harmful to themselves. I know what we should do. Let's give Cardi B a Grammy. She barely even speaks English. I know. She just like makes noises. What if we gave her a bunch of followers and promoted her and had her further denigrate the language, tell people to be proud that they're ghetto, make them think that it's cool, that it's popular? Do you think that we could do it? Yes, let's do it. And
they was doing that before Cardi B. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of why I don't. A lot of female rappers are like popping right now, but I don't like them. I don't like none of them. Even though a lot of songs like Glorilla, a lot of shit be hard. Free. You know what I'm saying? That shit hard, but at the same time, you're promoting this behavior in women that's not good for anyone. It's not good for society. It's not good for nobody. They want women to act like niggas. And I already don't like niggas. And now you're trying to get the women to act like niggas. Are you serious? It's the degradation. I think I said it right. Degradation of Black people. You know what I'm saying? And they promote it. It's not good. It's not good. Anyway, I don't want to see no fucking gutter females talking about fuck shit like niggas do. And if you say that too, they'll be like, oh, well, a man does it and it's fine. No, it's not fine. It should not be fine. It's not fine. It's not good.
So it goes. That's what's happening. Somehow, the people that I have to hope are playing the biggest prank on Black America have trained us to say the N-word, have trained us to celebrate obesity, have trained us to celebrate our lack of education by giving us a bunch of false idols, have trained us to think that gang banging is cool, right? It's in the music. It is now in the music that kids are putting in their ears when they put on a pair of headphones. And so they ignored the fact that last night Kanye had a bunch of children running around singing in Latin, singing Christian music, singing things that were good, that were productive for the future. They ignored all of that at his show last night, and they instead focused on the White Lives Matter messaging, because they said, you know what? God forbid Black Americans get an idea that they could be something other. God forbid Black Americans get an idea that these things that we are programming within their society are actually harmful. No. Let's turn Kanye West into enemy number one. That's what's happening. And it pains me to see that people still don't get it. It wasn't Kanye West that put the White Lives Matter t-shirt on first. You did. You did by intentionally ignoring what Black Lives Matter would actually mean if it was applied. It would mean taking a look at all of these statistics that I've just rattled off to you. It would mean taking a look at the real problem that is happening, which is our culture, a celebration of perversity pitched to us as if it's diversity. It's not. It is not diversity that we are celebrating. It is perversity. You think that it's something to be proud of. It's not. So when you say something like, oh, Candice Owens, we don't want you in our culture. You don't understand Black culture. I have to keep reminding you that I don't want to be a part of this culture. I want to destroy it. I want to destroy it further than...
Me too, bruh. I want to burn that shit down and build anew.
And it's already...
And it's so crazy because it wasn't always like this, bro. It wasn't always like this. That's the crazy part. It was not always like this. The brainwashing and the social engineering that these motherfuckers did. And I'm talking about regular white people. I'm talking about the motherfuckers at the top. The white people that's at the top. The ones that control this shit. And it's not just white people too. It's not just white people. But the ones at the top, they socially engineered a lot of these things to whether, and I've always talked about this. Since I was 12 years old, in middle school, nigga, I was talking about this shit. They make us do destructive things to destroy ourselves so that they don't have to do it no more. So they're hands-free. It's like we're rats in a race. We're rats in a maze, okay? We're lab rats. We're zoo animals, and they're watching us fight and die. God help us, boy. God help us.
Destroyed itself. I want to go backward. Your idea of progressivism is clearly regressive. Our children cannot read. This is a new plantation. All of the same problems, right? When slavery was in existence, there were a lot of things that needed to be maintained to make sure that the slaves never woke up. The first being the breakdown of the black family. Slaves were constantly being sold. Booker T. Washington, in his book Up From Slavery, talks about the fact that when his mother was sold and his mother was taken away from him, he didn't even cry. Because so often where slaves moved around, that the understanding of family values, that core of the family, meant nothing to them. They felt nothing. They also made sure that slaves were not allowed to learn how to read, right? It was so necessary to maintain slavery, to make sure that their minds were never educated. Because when there's nothing going on, you can insert information into the bot. You can insert information into the robot. Hello, Black America. It is happening again. Why do you think they don't pay attention to the 80% of black boys in the 4th grade that cannot meet reading standards in the state of California? Why don't they want to talk about that? Because it's perfect. It's empty air to insert information into. It is why they want those black boys and those black children to look up to Cardi B so they can further insert information that will guarantee they are incarcerated, celebrating the street lifestyle. When you attempt to dignify the undignified, this is what happens. This is the result.
Yes, right.
But no, I guess the real issue, the only topic of today is how dare Kanye West? How dare Candice Owens? And in response to that, I think the only thing I can say is how dare you? How dare you continue to insist on our stupidity? How dare you continue to reject all of the real problems and make a mockery of those of us who have the courage to stand up and continue to point them out? And how dare you think that I'm going to shut up now?
Dang. Candice Owens is the queen, huh? That's wifey. No cap. No cap. She snapped, boy. She snapped. She snapped. She snapped. I don't know what to tell you, she snapped. And I need to write down these statistics too, so I have them ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Because I know this shit, but people, it's the thing with conversations and arguments. The key to winning an argument is to sound like you know what you're talking about. So that's why a lot of people that don't know what they're talking about, they win because they sound like they know what they're talking about, or they're real passionate, real extra with it, which is like how a lot of women argue and a lot of them liberals argue. So if you have that energy plus facts and data that backs it up, you win. You win. Because how do you argue against that? Because your main argument is how you feel. I feel like this, I feel like that. Well, this is what is. How you feel does not matter to reality. And the reality is, we are struggling, boy. We are struggling. But damn, y'all have a good one, bro. I appreciate y'all watching this video, and I hope this is why I talk about this stuff, because these are things that need to be talked about, bro. We have to reach people, and I'm not gonna change everybody's mind. You know what I'm saying? But I know that I can change at least one person's mind. And that person could change someone else's mind, and that person to another person, and on and on and on. And I feel like if I could at least help one person see the truth, then then I did my job. Appreciate y'all for watching. Go outside and go touch some grass. See y'all next time.